So welcome everybody. This morning I have got a really exciting book to launch, and this book is something that is a little bit different than what we sometimes do traditionally here at Team Publishing, because this is a fiction book, but a fiction book with a real message. So today I'm really excited to be able to introduce you to Mariam El Houli, who is the author of this amazing fiction book. And Mariam at the moment, as you'll see, is in the car, and we've had some fun this morning getting this sorted. And for anyone that knows that you're a mother, you're running a business, if anyone knows what that's like and you just do whatever it takes, it is definitely Mariam. So first of all, I'm not going to be the person that introduces all about you, because I think that there's so much, and I don't want to get the number of your children wrong or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is introduce you first to everyone, but I want to know, first of all, yes, you're in the car. That's what busy entrepreneurial mums do. But tell us a little bit about yourself, Mariam, and also about how many children you've got.
Well, yes, we are in the car because we have to run away from the kids. It's school holidays and there's nowhere else but the car to hide. I'm Mariam. I'm a mother of 5, my oldest being 16 and my youngest 5. I'm a business owner for multiple businesses, and I am now a newly author, which is amazing and exciting for my new journey.
It definitely is. And how's that? You know, you just don't even look like you could have a 16-year-old child. And now apparently we've got an addition of a dog and a cat, and your family just
6 chickens.
6 chickens. Your family just keeps growing.
I know. Well, we love animals. Yeah, I'm actually 33 this month, so I am getting old, unfortunately. But yes, I had my children very young. It's a blessing and a curse at the same time. You know, you grow up with them, but then there's the struggles of this new generation. They think we're very old, and so it's a struggle. It's a struggle in the best ways.
That is amazing. I mean, gosh, you're still very young in my eyes, and to have that many children, you'd be like Nelly, be like a sister rather than a mother at that age. I'm sure that it would create some challenges, I'm sure, with so many different age groups, let alone your different cultures and things like that as well. But I know that you do an amazing job, and I've had the privilege of meeting some of your children, and you are truly amazing. A mother of 5 children, the chickens, the dog, the cat, and run a business. And I know the business that you run is hugely successful, and it is the beautiful Eve Skincare. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, I run Eve Skin, an organic Australian skincare brand, as well as I co-founded the Mica Minerals with my sister, a Australian mineral makeup brand as well. So we run that alongside my business coaching and my writing. So there's a lot that I do. I don't sleep much, let's just say that.
I definitely think that you mustn't sleep much, because just extraordinary. And I know for a fact the skincare is amazing. I know that my daughters have used it as well, and it's is it like vegan friendly and something?
Yes,
around
it is. The skincare is all organic, vegan friendly. It's for sensitive skin. It actually does work, which is like an amazing wow. Yes, it does work. And yeah, we've had tremendous success with it, and we're hoping now to take it to the next level. We already sell internationally anyway, but just the next step for us is scaling up. But it's been a very interesting journey. I don't have a background in business, and I started this from my dining room table with my kids helping and my husband packing. So it's been not your conventional entrepreneurship story. We started all the way from the bottom and built it up.
Absolutely amazing. And then what does she do? Fit in a passion of her writing and create the amazing book that we are launching today called The Olive Tree. Just showing the viewers here, this is the truly amazing book. I can tell you now firsthand, my dad's in the army. He's a tough cookie, and he had tears in his eyes. And that's just to show you how this book really is not only beautifully written, but it has a touching and moving story about it. So even though it's fiction, it has some real true places and some that are slightly changed for the benefit of the story, I know, but it is an extraordinary read. And I think what's so good about this fiction book, it's not just about, you know, your dragons and your fairies in that fiction way. It is a story that has a meaning, a story that engages you and really has you, you know, think about how it may be. I mean, we live in a lucky country. In Australia, we have no awareness. Well, I know that I don't have the awareness of what it would be like to be living in some of these other countries and what they're dealing with, and especially in today's climate. But without giving away too much about the book, but how amazing it is and a fantastic read. What is the book about? You know, give the listeners here just a little bit of an idea.
Before I tell you what the book is about, I'm actually, remember when we started on this journey together, Susan, we thought it was for young adults. And we were said that was our market. But then when we soft launched it on Amazon, and by the way, guys, it got first place in 3 different categories on Amazon, which is, you know, mind blowing. I was absolutely shocked to see men like you, like your dad, so many men, so many older women purchased the book, and every single one said the same thing, that they cried. And I'm like, in my brain, but this is just a young adult book. It's an easy read. I wouldn't have expected, you know, people, especially the older market cap generation, to actually really love and understand the book. So basically, the book is written. I write fiction usually with a purpose. So I, like you said, I'm not into life is not fairy tales. There's so many authors out there that can write the fairy tale and the dreams, and which is lovely. You know, life is not just, like I say in the life is not just black and white, but so many different shades in between. It's lovely to have these types of genres and books, but I'm a realist, and I like to write fiction with a purpose, that when you finish the book, even if I change one person's mind on whatever topic I'm talking about, I've won the Nobel Prize then in fiction. That's for me, in my opinion. So the olive tree is based in Palestine, occupied Palestine. It talks about 2 families from different religions. Their children go to the same school, but one being Muslim, the other one being Jewish, and with so many tension, with so many bigotry, prejudice, the families don't allow them to be not even friends, not even communicate, and how fate plays a very, very interesting role in both of their lives, and it binds them more, even if they were by blood. So that's the story of Nisma and Hannah. And the metaphor behind it all, we are all human. That's the essence of this book. If we left everything aside, our troubles are so similar. You know, these girls just wanted to live. They just want a good life. They, you know, one of them has domestic violence at home. The other one is poor and she loses a parent, you know, without giving the whole story away. But then it takes you on the ride of losing your parents, and how that impacts your life, and how poverty plays a big role. I know you said, Susan, you haven't experienced it, but I personally, and I think this is why I write the way I write, I personally got caught up in the Lebanon-Israel war in 2006. And I was 17 and I had my first son with me, and the Australian government had to take me and my husband and my little one out via the boats to Cyprus. We fled. So, and since then I lived it 2-3 times. Every time I'd go for a holiday, I'd get stuck. There was some sort of civil war or a national war, and it's not like what the media portrays here on TV, a few gunfights and that's it. It's a full blown out war with missiles, and some of my children still remember the one of the civil wars we got caught up in. You know, one night we didn't sleep from the missiles raining down on our house. it's not a game. It's not, you know, what do they call the Fortnite game that kids play on you know, or the Clash of Clans, or whatever the games that they play. These are humans, and some people I personally know that lost their lives, you know, whether a grenade came or whether they died, or, you know, in a shooting. Many people I know. So, you know, wars are not glamorous. Wars are absolutely horrendous, and the ultimate price, you know, that anyone pays in a war is a child, because that child, the trauma that caused to them, even when they grow up and become adults, it never ever leaves you. You know, I think I have a little bit of trauma from what I witnessed all these years ago. I don't think it ever left me. You know, when I think back about, you know, the people that, you know, one of my neighbor that I had seen the day before, and then 2 days later he died. I don't think these stuff ever leave you in your life. And touching base, because I'm a mum myself, and a lot of mothers, you know, can relate, losing a child in a war, not by natural causes, by some, you know, government or whatever political agenda's selfishness, just makes it the extra cruel. You know, why? And then you ask yourself, why are we having those wars? Who's it the benefit of? Because on either side, they just want to live anywhere in the world. We're not talking about Palestine or anywhere. You know, look what's happening now in the Ukraine. You know, how is that benefiting anyone? You know, I don't know if the government's ever thought about the generation that's going to grow up traumatized. No amount of therapy can, you know, wipe away what they went through. And that just breaks my heart, actually, to see that. But you know, all I can do is try and write about it and get people to, you know, maybe wake up and see what really happens.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's just bringing awareness. So even though it is a fiction book, it has a storyline to it. It has, you know, Nisma and Hannah, and how they become friends without judgment, without that, you know, they're two young people that just want to be happy. They just want to be friends. And I think opening up that, the awareness that, you know, our children aren't, you know, that way. Our children just want happiness. Our children just want to belong. Our children just want to be loved and have that security and safety, the basics of what is every human person's right. And I think that, you know, what it does is, not only is it a great read, like you said, it is for young adults, but once the book was complete, it was for such a broad range, like I said, you know, but an easy read. You know, sometimes, even though it was written for more like the young adult, and what I think is so good is that sometimes the books that, whether they're even, you know, nonfiction and they're the truth, they become too complex, they become too hard to read, that we just want to understand the basics, the human basics of, you know, these unfortunate, you know, horrible wars and situations that our children are in. And I think because it was written for young adults, but adults, you know, older generations, like I said, can read it and still be touched, moved, and inspired enough to say, wow, you know, let's get some thought-provoking conversations out of this. Let's have us to be a little bit aware of what's going on. So for sure, this is a book, like I said, The Olive Tree is a really great book for young adults. But if you want to buy it for your children, for your young adult children, if you want to buy it for yourself, if you, even like I said, my father read it and had a tear in his eye and said, you know, and my dad is an avid reader, so he reads books all the time. So for him, you know, to say that it was a good read and it brought a tear to his eye means that it's written well and it's got that emotion in it. And I think that could only be done because of the experience you've been through. And, you know, it's not, you know, there's another book I know coming, and we'll talk about that in a second. But the book here, like I said, you know, when we look at it, it says, we were unbreakable, we were strong, and we were resilient, just like the olive tree. And I think that's so important, because the point is, it really just does open people's eyes, and it tells a story that we can understand. It's easy read, but it really gets deep thought. So we're really proud and we're really thankful that you chose us as the publisher to work with you on this book. And I know that, what we love about it also is that, yes, it's fiction and we love it, but it has a purpose. And I know that, you know, your writing is to have people take them on a journey, an emotional journey, and not always the fairies and the goblins, but it's a story that provokes our thought. It's a great read, and it's something that I know anyone that picks it up, no matter what age, will get some great reads. So I don't want to give away all of the story, but I think that the readers have got a really good grasp of it all. I know that we're going to put the link below. They can purchase the book from you direct, from the author, and I think it's always important that we support the authors. They've put their time, their investment, you know, in getting this story out there to the world. So you can purchase it directly from Mariam, and her website will be in the link below, or you can, if you're, you know, overseas, you can get it a bit cheaper with Mariam as well. Otherwise, if you're overseas, it's available on Amazon. Remember, The Olive Tree by Mariam El Houli, which is here again, that will be written there for you to get it off Amazon. But is there anything else that you want to leave the readers with? And then let's give them a sneak peek about what this next book's going to be about.
So with the olive tree, I just want to make a point to tell, and we've had, you know, a lot of, and I love the debates that people sent me, messages and their thoughts. This is not a religious book. I am not a religious scholar, people. I am not for or against or a Zionist or an anti-Zionist. This is not the book that, or what I'm aiming at my message to be. You know, it's not a political book. You know, some people messaged and said, oh, but you should have, you know, talked more about the violence. This is purely a humane story focused on the children, focused on what happens in wars, and takes you on a journey of two normal families. You can imagine them in you can imagine them in Melbourne, you can imagine them in any country that you want. But it just takes you on a journey and shows you these kids as they grow up, what happens to them. And you can relate to either Nisma or Hannah, and I'm sure every single person would know a Nisma or would know a Hannah or would know one of the characters they've seen in their own lives. So I hope people just bear that in mind when they're reading, that this is not supposed to be anything about religion or anything about politics, and I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in the humane sides of you know, of the people in the story. Now, for the new book that I'm writing, Souls of the Devil, Grey Wolves. Now, this one's going to be a heavy read. This one is based for adults, not young adults. The subjects that will be covered, I think I'm going to supply a tissue box with each book when I send it out to people. The topics are very heavy. And if people like, and this is what I was saying to a lot of the you know, the feedback that I got, and I replied, and I said, if you like The Olive Tree and cried, you wait till you read Souls of the Devil. We've got incest, we've got rape, we've got religious abuse, we have you know, the bureaucratic system that's all corrupt. We've got every single topic that you can think of: family narcissism, betrayal, suicide, that people don't, depression, that everyone in our ethnicities do not talk about, that shrug under the rug, that think that doesn't exist. It's going to be in Souls of the Devil, in a story I think that is going to be captivating, that hasn't been done before in the way that I've written it, to keep the, you know, the reader really, you know, interested. And I post a lot, Suzanne, on my Instagram, little snippets from it. And just from the snippets, I get so many messages saying, oh my God, when is this out? You know, just little snippets. Yeah, it's just, I think, my style of writing that I love, and again, it has a lot of purpose in it. Souls of the Devil will have so many messages, and sometimes your own blood is your own enemy, and I think that's what it comes down to. It's not a rosy world out there.
Yeah, and I really do want the listeners here to know that, you know, like I said, it's not all doom and gloom, because like there's some really beautiful things inside of Olive Tree. There's some really moments of true friendship and things that, you know, that people will be taken on a journey with. And this isn't, like you said, this isn't a religious book. This isn't your political judgment. This is you writing as a writer, that we can imagine two friends in Australia, two friends that are, you know, from our very multicultural
exactly
Australia. And so I think that, and it's And it's not you telling people your opinion. This is you writing a fiction book for people to get what they want out of. And I think that's what's really important. If it's not a book that you don't, you know, that you want to just read that's a little bit lighter, definitely, you know, grab the Olive Tree. See if you like the style of writing and what Mariam's putting out there. But I know that no matter what book is written, books that we like to produce or we like to help other authors to get out there are books that make a difference. They can make a difference in people's businesses, in people's lives, in multiple different areas. And just because this is a fiction book, it is no different. It has people think, people become aware, and people have a read that is you know, not the typical, you know, business book or coaching book. This is something that still is making a difference. So look out for our new amazing author, Mariam El Houli, and the Olive Tree. The links are there. Grab on, get your tissue boxes, and make sure that you grab a copy and, you know, read it and encourage, you know, Mariam for her amazing work that she is doing and putting out there amongst all her children, her cats, her dog, her chickens, her businesses. It's like this woman is incredible, and she's taking the time to share it. So thank you so much for
Thank you for having me.
trusting in us.
Thank you so much, and I hope to get as much feedback as I can from everyone, and different opinions and likes. And if you didn't like, that's, you know, not everyone's going to agree, so that's fine. But I'm interested in everyone's opinion and what they think and what we could do better next time, maybe in a story. So looking forward to it.
Beautiful. Thanks so much. Grab your copy. Bye for now.